Hello, Lisa Hiles with my intermediate course. That's a B1 level course. And for those of you with an IELTS score of 4 to 4.5, how are you? Thank you for joining me for lesson 29 of the course. And today is a grammar lesson. We're going to be looking at quantifiers, okay? So things like a little, several, plenty of, and with the most common countable and uncountable nouns. And the context today, so the topic when we use these quantifiers is in the context of my life, my home, talking about your life and your home. Okay, how does that sound? Let's get going. Okay, what makes you happy? Here are some of my ideas. Okay, what I'd like you to do is there are 10 ideas. I'd like you to read through them with me and see if we have any ideas in common. Okay, do we have any ideas in common? Do you agree with me on any things, or what other things do you think are the ingredients, if you like, to happiness? Number one, no stress. Number two, a little bit of alcohol, but not too much. Number three, a bit of work. Number four, a few sweets and cakes, but not too many. Number five, 1 or 2 hours outside on a sunny day. Number six, a couple of good books and films to enjoy. Number seven, plenty of time with my family. Number eight, enough exercise to make me feel good. Number nine, a lot of home-cooked food. And number 10, several visits from my closest friends. Okay, read through those again if you need to. Stop the slide and decide, here are some of my ideas. Do we have any in common? Okay, so why have I put some words here in green? What are all these words in green? Do you know? That's right, they are the quantifiers. So they tell us about quantity. They tell us how much or how many, don't they? Okay, they're very common. And, you know, because there's this division between countable and uncountable nouns, there are certain things we just have to learn how to use them. Okay, so let's have a look. Looking at the nouns, yeah, in task 1, which are countable, so which can you count, and which are uncountable nouns. So if we look back, number 1, no stress. Stress is the noun. And as you can see here, it's an uncountable noun. So put it in that column. Okay, so if you flick back to here, you've got alcohol, work, sweets, etc. They're all examples of the nouns, cakes, hours, books, films, time, exercise, food, and visits. They're all the nouns, and I want you to tell me which ones are countable and which ones are uncountable, and to put them in a table that looks like this. So you need a piece of paper or your phone, if that's how you prefer to use it, and do a list, countable and uncountable. Okay? I'm going to put it on this page so you can do it. Countable and uncountable. Go. Okay, I imagine that you've stopped the slide so you can do it. Shall we have a look at the answers? Okay, so from my sentences 1 to 10 about what makes me happy, in the countable nouns we've got sweets, cakes, hours, books, films and visits. Now, as you can see there, because we're talking about a quantity, how much or how many there, we have got an S on the end of the countable nouns when they are regular, okay? The uncountable nouns, we've got stress, alcohol, work, time, exercise, and food, okay? Right, so there are our countable and uncountable nouns. The next thing I'd like you to do is look back at the quantifiers in task 1, and the quantifiers are the words in green. And I'd like you to tell me which quantifiers are used with countable nouns, which ones are used with uncountable, and if you can think, which ones are used with both. Okay, so if we go back to number 1, we've got number 1, no stress. Okay, no stress. So we know that we can use no as a quantifier with uncountable nouns. Is it possible to say no sweets, no cakes? Is it? Yes, it is. Okay, so friends of mine eat no sweets because they want to stay slim. Okay, so no is an example of a quantifier that can be used with both. So you need a piece of paper and you need to look at your list of countable and uncountable nouns. We'll go back to task 1 and look at the quantifiers. So here we've got a little. And here it's used before alcohol. Okay, so what do we know about the word alcohol? Is it a countable or uncountable noun? It's uncountable, yes? Do you remember? Look, alcohol, it's uncountable. So we can't say alcohols. No, the plural, the singular is plural, and it's a kind of group meaning, isn't it? Alcohol, meaning beer, wine, all sorts of different things, gin. Yeah, it's alcohol, so it's uncountable. And in front of it, we have the words a little. Okay, so we know it's with uncountable nouns. Find a countable noun, for example, sweets. Can you say a little sweets? No. Okay, you can't say a little sweets. So that tells us that a little is used only with uncountable nouns. So look at those. No, a little, too much, a bit of, a few, too many, all of those in green. And can you classify them? Ones you can use with countable nouns, ones you can use with uncountable nouns, and ones you can use with both. Okay, stop the slide here. Okay, so are you ready for the answers? Here we go. So, quantifiers that we can use with countable nouns like sweets, cakes, books, films, hours, visits. We've got a few. Yeah, a few sweets, a few cakes, but not too many. Yeah. Okay, 1 or 2. What did we use 1 or 2 for? Let's go and look at 1 or 2. Okay, here we go. 1 or 2 hours outside on a sunny day. And a couple of good books and films to enjoy. So they're the ones we can only use with countable nouns. Yeah. With uncountable nouns, we've got a little. So, for example, a little alcohol, but not too much. Again, with uncountable, much or too much, not too much. And a bit of work. Don't forget the of there. Yeah, it's not a bit work, a bit of work. Yeah. So they're the ones that are only used with uncountable nouns. And then the ones that we can use with both, like no stress. Yeah, then we've got no, so we can say no stress, no sweets, no alcohol, for example. Plenty of. Yeah, plenty of time with my family, plenty of visits from friends, plenty of hours outside in the sunshine, and plenty we use for a big number, don't we? Okay, enough or not enough also goes with both, so we can say enough time, yeah, enough cakes. Enough hours in the day. There aren't enough hours in the day sometimes, aren't there? We're too busy. There isn't enough time to do everything. Okay, so we can use with both. A lot of. Yeah, a lot of for big numbers. Yeah. I'm trying to think how I used a lot of. I can't remember. There it is, a lot of home-cooked food. Flick, flick, flick. Am I making you feel a bit dizzy? Sorry about that. Okay, so I like a lot of home-cooked food when my husband's cooking. He's a very good cook. But I also read a lot of books in my spare time, so it can go with both. Yeah, and some and any are the ones that you will be most familiar with, probably. Some and any and much and many are the quantifiers that you start learning at elementary A1 level, aren't they? And they can go with both. Sometime, yeah, some cakes. I haven't got any time. I haven't got any cakes. I need to bake them, yeah. So some, usually for positive, and any, not any, certainly in speech, for questions and negatives. Yeah, so that's quite a useful table for you to have for your records, and certainly as we do a few more tasks and you do the quiz, that will be useful to refer to your countable and uncountable nouns. Maybe you can add some, and to your quantifiers. Okay, I've got some questions about meaning here, and I wonder if you can help me with the differences in meaning. So, do you know the difference between I have plenty of time and I have too much time? They do not mean the same thing. So, what's the difference in meaning? Think about it. Maybe you could look it up in a dictionary if you're not sure. If not, the answers come in a moment, of course. Okay, in similar way, what's the difference in meaning between I do plenty of exercise and I do enough exercise? Okay, think about those. Also, when we're talking about small quantities of things, what's the difference between a couple of, a few, and several. So a couple of, a few, and several are all used for small numbers of things, relatively small quantities. Okay? So not a lot of, the other end. Okay? The opposite of a lot of, or the opposite of many. But what's the difference? So number 3, if I say I enjoy visits from a couple of friends, or visits from a couple of friends make me happy, how many visits? Can you put a number to it? 1? More than 1? Okay? What about number 4? Visits from a few friends make me happy. How many visits then? 1, 2, or 3, or more? And we know it's more than 1 because it says visits, so it's already plural. But tell me the number so I can see that you know the difference between these quantifiers. Okay? So we've got visits from a couple of friends make me happy, visits from a few friends make me happy, and visits from several friends make me happy. Please tell me the difference in those. Okay? If you need time to look at a grammar book or a dictionary, please do so now. If not, I will show you the answers on the next slide. Okay, here we are. So focus on meaning. I have plenty of time. So plenty of is a very positive quantifier, okay, and it means more than I need, but it's a very good thing, yeah, to have plenty of time. When you have plenty of time, you feel calm, relaxed, you don't have to hurry, yeah, you don't have to rush. I have plenty of time, it's positive, it's a good thing. Whereas I have too much time is negative, yeah, so I don't need so much. Maybe I'm a bit bored. Yeah, I have too much time sometimes to think, and then I get worried. Okay, so plenty of, more time than I need, but in a good way. And too much, too much time, there's a lot and I don't need it. Yeah, it's negative. Did you get that? Well done. Okay, so number 3, I do plenty of exercise. Again, it's very positive, and that means more than I need for good health. Yeah, I do plenty of exercise. Again, it's very positive. In this country, the doctors say you should do 30 minutes exercise 5 times a week, isn't it? Okay, so what's 5? That's 2.5 hours exercise a week. So this person says, I do plenty of exercise. So they do more than the 2.5 hours a week, and it's a good thing. I do enough exercise. I do the right amount for good health. So I do exactly the 2.5 hours per week, the 2 hours, 30 minutes per week that doctors say is a good thing for good health. Yeah, so plenty of is more, but always in a very, very positive way. And enough is the right amount for what you need. Okay? Too much or too many is when you have a large amount of something and it's negative. You don't need it. Do you see me waggling my fingers? Okay. So something to note there. Okay, a couple of, I use a couple of to mean 2 or 3. A few, 3 or more, but still a small number. A few, 3, 4, 5. No more than that. And then several is more than a few, but less than a lot of. Yeah. So say between 5 and 8 would be several, but it's not a large quantity. We're still talking about small quantities, but it's a larger number than a couple of or a few. Okay? So, for example, if you're thinking about job opportunities, imagine you're looking for a job and you're looking through the internet trying to find jobs, you see, I've seen a couple of jobs I like, 2 or 3. I've seen a few jobs, 3, 4, 5. I've seen several jobs I like is a bigger number, but it's still not many. Yeah, but it could be 5, 6 or 7. Clear? Brilliant. Okay, let's move on then. What's going to happen in task 5? Here we go. Here is a painting of my village where I live, and this village is called Blakeney in the east of England. And you can see that it's on the coast. Yeah, it's on the coast. It's very popular with sailors. It's got a beach, so families love it in summer. This is a hotel. There's a hotel here. There are bars and cafes. Okay? I think I've probably talked about my village before. Okay, choose the correct quantifier here. So you've got, it's a multiple choice. You've got 2 to choose from. Choose the correct one. Okay, number 1. There are a couple of or a lot of tourists in summer because it's a popular beauty spot. There are a couple of or a lot of tourists in summer because it's a popular beauty spot. Number 2, there isn't much or there isn't no traffic. Number 3, there are a few or a little pubs. And number 4, there are a bit of, or there are 1 or 2 hotels. What do you think? Okay, here are the answers. Sorry. There we go. There are a lot of tourists in summer. There isn't much traffic. When you use much here, you need a negative. So there isn't much traffic, is not, isn't much traffic, or there is no traffic. So you can't use not and no together. That's a double negative. Okay, so there isn't much traffic or there's no traffic. Okay. Number 3, there are a few pubs, countable, and there are 1 or 2 hotels. Again, countable nouns. Brilliant. Okay, let's look at the final task, number 6. Look at these sentences about my home. Okay, and mark them with a tick if they are correct grammatically. Okay, and a cross if you think there is an error of grammar in there. Okay, number 1, we have plenty gadgets. Number 2, we have several wardrobes for clothes. Number 3, we have space enough to park 2 cars. Number 4, we have a couple of bathrooms. And number 5, we don't have no antique furniture. A tip, 3 out of the 5 are incorrect, there is a grammar problem. Can you find the 3 with the grammar problem? And here are the answers. We have plenty of gadgets, and again they run together. Listen to the pronunciation. Plenty of gadgets. Number 2 is correct. Number 3, change the enough comes before the noun. Yeah, we have enough space to park 2 cars. 4 is correct, and 5, we have no antique furniture, or we don't have any antique furniture. So when we use no, we've got have, yeah, and when we use any, we use don't have for the negative. There we go. That concludes my lesson on quantifiers. You probably want to have extra practice by looking at the quiz. And there's extra practice there. And next lesson, lesson 30, is a review lesson from lessons 26 to 29. So there'll be more work on quantifiers there. Thanks very much for following me today, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye now.